How's it going, everyone? I'm M. Welcome back to the TechBlock channel. Today's video is all about this PC build right here. MSI absolutely hooked it up last time by sending over their RTX 2080 Super. This is a beautiful card. Check it out, man. Full on RGB. Matches the PC build pretty nicely if you ask me. But they've also sent over their X570 MEG Godlike motherboard. Look at this beauty. It supports PCIe Gen 4, of course, and you can have a total of 3 M.2 drives on board, and it even comes with an expander card, so you can have 5 M.2 drives. It comes with 10 gigabit LAN, just so many beautiful features. We'll talk about all the lovely bells and whistles that this motherboard has once we actually put it into the PC build. Here we have the Godlike motherboard, holy crap. But what's really awesome about it is that over here, this entire section here, this is an OLED screen. This board comes with an OLED screen, and you can put, I think, anything on here really, including temperature readouts for your CPU, maybe even your graphics card or something. I don't know, we're gonna find out. But super cool that it does actually come with an OLED screen, man. Gotta love that. So let's do a lovely peel right here. What's really unique about this motherboard is that it comes with a bunch of expansion cards, one of them being 10 gigabit LAN right here. So it's just an expansion card that comes with the board when you buy it, of course, and you can just add a 10 gigabit Ethernet port just like that if you need it. This, I believe, is the M.2 expander. So yeah, inside of here you can add an extra 2 M.2 SSDs, and it even comes with a fan right here, so those SSDs are gonna of course stay very cool and maintain their extremely high speeds. Wow, MSI even throw in SATA cable labels. Now I know cable labels aren't like that exciting, but to be honest, I'm not going to use them for SATA cables. I'm going to use them for like my USB cables at the back of my PC. Ooh, okay, so this is like all the extra cables. There's like a special audio port because this motherboard does support MSI's like enhanced audio. So you get a total of 3 of these beautiful braided SATA cables. You don't see braided SATA cables very often, but these are actually really high quality. So I'm guessing you build it like this. Oh, that actually looks pretty cool. So I'm going to probably mount that on top of the PC. We'll get even better Wi-Fi. Gotta love that. And this does, of course, support Wi-Fi 6, latest Wi-Fi 6 standard. So you're gonna get very good Wi-Fi performance. It's time to shut down. Goodbye, X470. And hello, X570, man. This is gonna be quite the upgrade right here. I ended up buying these wipes from Noctua to actually clean the thermal paste off of the CPU and off of the heatsink as well of the all-in-one liquid cooler. For the M.2 storage, I'm going to be using a 1TB XPG RGB M.2 drive, accompanied by another ADATA XPG 1TB M.2 drive. Although this model here is the 8200 Pro, neither of these M.2 SSDs support PCIe Gen 4 speeds. They're like about 3 gigabytes per second on the read performance and like maybe, I don't know, 2.5 gigabyte per second on write. They're not the fastest drives on earth, but I will be upgrading to PCIe Gen 4 M.2 SSD soon. For now though, I'm going to be using these. Okay, so this comes with thermal pads. Wow. Okay, there's going to be some high performance stuff here, man. There we go. That is installed very securely in there. The cooling for your M.2 drives here is actually phenomenal. I've not really seen many motherboards come with like this many thermal pads, but wow, this is like double, triple layered thermal pads, man. Now, because this is an RGB SSD, I can't actually put the default heatsink back on that came with it, even though this has an extra thermal pad on here and is gonna probably provide better cooling than the RGB thingy here, but I'm gonna leave this as the RGB drive. You know, it's gotta have its RGB. We can't just remove the RGB off of the drive for the sake of performance, because RGB will give you performance. Couple things have changed with the PC build. As you can probably see, G.SKILL went ahead and sent out 64 gigs of RAM, set of 4 right here, 3600 megahertz, and the cache latency is actually 16, 19, 19, 1939, so pretty decent RAM here. Like, you can't go wrong with G.SKILL RAM, and it does look absolutely beautiful inside of the PC as well. Check it out. Check it out. With the MSI graphics card, I reckon like this type of like LED lighting and G.SKILL's LED lighting, they go hand in hand. They look really nice, this card. And the G.SKILL RAM, at least to me, this just looks so pretty. And I set like some cool new lighting effects for the motherboard. So I've got like this stacking lighting effect with the color red. The vertical GPU mount, in fact, is in this PC build, but you're gonna find out more about this build soon, because for now it's just like stealthy black PC case. You don't even know what's inside. And I also ended up getting rid of the RGB PCIe cable. I've just ordered some sleeved black cables for the graphics card as well as the 24-pin, and I've ordered 2 sleeved cables to go over there as well. They're gonna be black. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna reuse these RGB cables in a different build, but for my own personal rig, I wanna take a slightly different approach, at least for now. I might bring back the RGB cables. I'm not saying that they're gonna be gone forever and you'll never see them again, but you're gonna maybe see them again once we install everything into that PC case. But God, there's so many things happening with like PC build related stuff. So over here we have MSI's dynamic dashboard. That is the OLED screen right here, and at the moment you can see MSI's Dragon fighting characters there and saying good job, game on, and then it continues fighting things. If you want to customize it and have something else showing on it instead, you can select for example CPU temperature. You can even track a PCIe 1, which would be my graphics card in this case. If I press apply, then you're gonna see, instead of us seeing fighting MSI Dragon characters and all that, we're gonna see PCIe 1 temp, which is the graphics card temp right now, and then CPU temp, and it's just gonna alternate between the two over and over again. That's the dynamic dashboard. You can of course upload your own files and your own GIFs, I suppose, to play on this OLED screen, but bear in mind that this is black and white, okay? It's not RGB, but you can of course add custom GIFs. I don't have any of my own. I don't really know how to make GIFs. In terms of RGB lighting, I've set everything right now to rainbow, so I can show you how this PC looks like in the rainbow setting, and you get to see the RGB G.SKILL RAM in action as well, alongside all the other hardware in here. And I really do like that infinity mirror right there with a specific lighting effect. Personally, the ones that I found were really cool was marquee. If you set marquee to like red, for example, I think it was marquee. I hope I'm not mistaken here. Oh God, I've set everything to marquee. I want to show you specifically that bit there. I reckon this is a pretty cool lighting effect because something's always moving there. This motherboard and MSI's Dragon Center software do offer a very extensive amount of RGB lighting. And one thing I'm going to praise them for is when you go into CPU control, they even let you adjust the CPU temperature settings based on color. I do approve of the software, and I approve of the RGB, even the rainbow wave lighting effects, and everything else this thing offers. One thing I absolutely wanted to cover is the rear I/O on the back of the motherboard, and luckily the back of this box has it also. So we have clear CMOS as well as flash BIOS buttons, 2 Wi-Fi antennas for Wi-Fi 6 as well as Bluetooth 5.0, 6 USB ports in total, 5 Type A, 1 Type C, a PS2 port, gigabit LAN as well as 2.5 gigabit LAN from Killer. The one criticism I have of this motherboard in terms of the rear I/O is I wish they would put more USB ports. Like, this is a 640-pound motherboard. This costs so much money, man. But they only have 6 USB ports in total, and only 5 of them are Type A. Like, I wish instead of them including a 6.3mm headphone port, which, like, I don't know who would use this. Maybe there's some people out there that have hi-fi headphones that would really appreciate this. I myself, I don't use hi-fi headphones. I just have like my wireless Razer ones there that plug in via USB, and I really would have appreciated having like 4 more USB ports here instead of a 6.3mm headphone port. And these are of course USB 3.2 Gen 2 ports, at least I think a couple of them are. So they are 10 gigabit USB 3.2 ports. They're very good, they're very fast. Overclocking and my overclocking results on this X570 Godlike motherboard with the AMD Ryzen 9 3950X here. I expected much better all-core overclocks with this CPU than what I got. The most I think I've been able to push it in terms of like an all-core overclock, and for the CPU to be like stable. I can't say it's stable because the PC like blue screened on me a couple times and turned off a couple times whilst I had this overclock on, and since I've turned the overclock down, I've had less stability issues and the PC's been running much more stable lately, which is always good. The all-core overclock I achieved was 4.25 gigahertz, and if I would try to go above that, I would run into temperature problems. I'd run into the PC would just blue screen, man. So like I can't push it further than that. So I turned the all-core overclock down to 4.1. That's what I'm running it now. All-core 4.1 gigahertz, 16 cores. It does a better job than AMD's auto overclocking, which does, in my opinion, not a very good job. Precision boost overdrive and the whole precision boost thing doesn't do a very good job either. It seems to only push the CPU to 4 gigahertz and doesn't really try to go above, when I could kind of like pretty easily slap on an overclock for like 4.1. I could maybe still get away with like a 4.2 gigahertz all-core overclock. That one was actually stable like 99% of the time. Only sometimes your PC would occasionally blue screen. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, first of all, but you know, I just didn't get very good results relying on the auto overclocking features. Manual overclocking is like really easy. You can mess around with it in Ryzen Master and like per core increase the clock speeds and see what you get. But I kind of just stuck to all-core overclocks because I'm trying to edit videos on this PC. And now that we got a whopping 64 gigs of RAM in this motherboard, over the next couple of weeks I'm going to work on a video comparing 32 gigs of RAM versus 64 gigs of RAM. Now I know this is like a very niche subject. Hardly anyone like needs 64 gigs of RAM unless you're editing videos or doing some other very RAM intensive task, because Premiere likes to use up my RAM, and if it starts using up too much, my PC would freeze up before, because it would use up all 32 gigs of RAM. My PC has like 0 RAM spare and everything just freezes. But since I've upgraded to 64 gigs, I've only had this RAM for like 1 day. So far, Adobe has not been able to utilize all 64 gigs of RAM yet. So it's giving me a lot more headroom in terms of RAM capacity, RAM headroom. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Thank you to MSI for sending over the graphics card, the motherboard, and of course, shout out to G.SKILL as well for sending out 64 gigs of RAM. But like I said, I'll be working on my comparison video comparing 32 gigs of RAM versus 64 gigs of RAM with this, you know, 3950X and everything. Was the RAM upgrade worth it? We'll find out, because I've only had the RAM for a day. I've not been able to like experiment that much with it just yet. But of course, gonna be editing this video now using this PC. So I'm gonna get going. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in another video soon. Goodbye.